Brothers and sisters, the revolution is on. Yes! And as you can see, the revolution is being televised. That's right. But don't worry. Some of us get nervous when we hear the word revolution. But as the great Khalid Muhammad said, revolution means complete, constructive change. That's all. Complete, constructive change. Yeah. And as the Black Panther Party would say, revolution means revolving the power back into the hands of the people. I want to make it clear that 30 years ago, when our sons and daughters, young African men and women, some children, aged 15 to 22, were roasted in this building. And when the government kept quiet, and the local authority kept quiet, and the monarch, so-called Queen Elizabeth, kept quiet, and when the Metropolitan Police refused to properly investigate what happened, what they were doing is denying African humanity. Word song, word song, word song. So, when we stand here, 30 years on, to commemorate that powerful Black People's Day of Action that was called 30 years ago, it is, amongst other things, to affirm and to validate the humanity of the 13 who were slaughtered in this building. That's right. Come on. And the 27, don't forget them, who were injured. It is to validate their humanity. That's right. It is to validate the humanity of their mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters and families. If you don't recognize our humanity, we're saying, we certainly do. That's right. Be clear about this. Yeah. So today, we have come to reaffirm and understand this. When we affirm their humanity, we are affirming African humanity. And we are saying that the blood of our people will not be shed in vain. That's right. This is a very powerful day. Don't for one moment underestimate the power and the meaning of this day and the ripple effect that it is having in the halls of government right now. Don't underestimate it. So without further ado, I will hand us over to Baba Herokuti of Galaxy Radio. A long-standing, outstanding elder among us.
And look what's there. And look at pouvoir. Otep. Otep. People. Otep. Wait, weird. I don't hear nobody. Otep. Otep. Yes. This is not no idiot day that we are here. We are here because of 30 years ago, our brothers and sisters, our future right, the development of our future was arrested and murdered and killed.
That's right.
I want you to understand this. So it's a very serious day for us.
Yeah.
Beloved brothers and sisters, I want you to remember, one tree don't make a forest, and one soldier don't make an army.
Come on.
It is time we let go of our little cliquism.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes.
It is time the people who belong to the churches realize that, listen, before you are religious or Christian or Jew or Muslim, you are an African black man first. I want the brothers and sisters who belong to this organization, that organization, any organization, to realize that before there was a Marxist, socialist, Africanist, capitalist, they were an African first. I want you to understand that when you're being attacked up and down the world, you're not being attacked because you are Muslim, because you're a Christian, because you're a capitalist, or you're whatever you are. No, you're being attacked because who you look like, what you are, an African.
That's right. That's right.
So, beloved, it is for us as a people to use this great disaster to our benefit and our interest. If we want to make sure that we celebrate the passing of our youngsters right here, what we need to do is to make sure that we can come together.
At this time, brothers and sisters, I'm going to ask us all to assume a posture of reverence as we pour libation to the 14. Remember, one more died 2 years later from mental affliction, jumping to his death over a balcony after the vicious experience, the trauma from the experience. He kept reliving. He kept reliving what happened on that fateful night. And we must put our minds in touch and our hearts in touch with what happened on that night. As the fire rose, our children were screaming and jumping from the top floor window down. Some of them jumped to their death. Some of them, I understand, were impaled as they jumped. We must remember this. The pain. And we must ask ourselves, even those who survive, 30 years on, I've spoken to some of them. They're still carrying the trauma and the pain. They're still having operations. How can we forget them? We can never forget them.
That's right.
Never forget them. And that's why it's important that our children are here.
That's right.
So they can hear the narrative of what happened on that fateful night from our lips.
Come on.
And not from the lips of the distorters of history.
That's right.
Not from the pen of the hunter.
Word.
But from the soul of the lion himself and herself. We will tell our own story. A vivid story. So we're going to assume a posture of reverence as we remember those who died. Okay. As we call the names, each name that I call, brothers and sisters, please shout out Uyai. Can you say it for me, please?
Uyai.
And that means come forth. Come. Okay. Steve Collins.
Uyai.
He was age 17. Andrew Gooding.
Uyai.
Age 18. Humphrey Brown.
Uyai.
Age 18. Lloyd Hall.
Uyai.
Age 20. Ivan Ruddock.
Uyai.
Age 16, whose birthday party it was. Rosalind Henry.
Uyai.
Age 16. Patricia Johnson.
Uyai.
Age 15. Peter Campbell.
Uyai.
Age 18. Gary Francis.
Uyai.
Age 17. Paul Ruddock.
Uyai.
Age 20, and the brother of Ivan Ruddock. Sorry, that's incorrect. It's age 22. He was 22 years old. Patrick Cumming.
Uyai.
Age 16. Lenton Powell.
Uyai.
Age 15. Anthony Burbeck.
Uyai.
Age 20. Owen Thompson.
Uyai.
Age 16. Brothers and sisters, we're going to have 1 minute silence, a big explosion, and then we're going to move off. When I say explosion, I don't mean by way of dynamites and Molotov cocktail. You have to be careful, you know, brothers and sisters, on a day like this. We're talking about a spiritual explosion. So can we just raise up again only the placards of the departed? And we're going to have 1 minute silence.